Welcome back to an all-new episode of Construction Secrets with me, David Windsor. We are at Sky Ridge in Park City, Utah. Sky Ridge Lot 60. I just showed you a video about a disaster relief that we had in this house, and huge, unfortunate. But what I want to talk to you about today is having to pivot. I mean, in times right now, it's really tough. So pivoting is crucial. And so we ordered these trusses for this house a long time ago. Obviously, we're in the stage, but trusses were 20 weeks out. We ordered those trusses 22 weeks out. We called to see where they were about 3-4 weeks before they were delivered. And they said, oh, sorry, they've been pushed another 16 weeks. 16 weeks, and this was last year, so winter was coming. We didn't know what to do. So rather than sit on our ass and say, well, that's the way it goes, we went to the designer, we went to the architect, we went to the engineer, and we just said, fuck it, and we redesigned the whole roof package. So initially, this house had roof trusses that came down to this level. So everything was at this level, and this was a flat ceiling all the way across. And we said, you know what, screw it. We're gonna stick frame this thing. So we stick framed the whole house. It became these big vaulted ceilings. And then none of these beams existed. And we said, all right, let's make these beams exposed. You know, we'll make it part of the design. So we had this, this whole thing was flat. So this ceiling went from like 12 feet up to 16 feet. So that was, yes, it cost more in framing, it cost more in drywall, it cost more in paint, and it cost more in insulation because we had to spray foam it instead of blow it in the trusses in the attic space. But that's what we had to do. Pivoting on a job is crucial. So sometimes, the owner may not want to do that, but when we came down to it, the time was more important to the owner than the money. And the money wasn't that much as far as, it was a nominal request and change order based on the cost of this house. And so when it comes down to timelines and figuring things out and understanding that there are going to be mistakes and delays, especially in today's times, post-COVID, shit's been really hard to get. Windows and doors and certain things are just months and months and months, sometimes years. Appliances are years out, and you're going to have to pivot. So, we're pretty good about ordering windows and appliances and things like that before we even start digging on a house, just because we want to make sure it arrives and we're not slowing down production to button up the house in the middle of winter. As you can see, we got a little light dusting yesterday, but you don't want to be these guys done framing and you got to tape up all your windows because your windows haven't arrived. So we're making sure that we order our windows on time because we want to make sure that those windows are there, set down in the middle of framing. So right when the framer's done putting the roof on and we get our shear and roof nailing inspection complete, we can install those windows the next day. And that way we have a warmer environment for our rough-in crew to work in, and they can work in ease, and we can get that thing buttoned up for a 4-way, and we can get insulated, we get the heat on. So it comes down to pivoting, and sometimes when you order these things on time, it doesn't work, and i.e. this truss system. So sometimes you just got to pivot and do whatever it takes, and even if that means spending more money, going back to the design team, figuring it out, whatever it is, you got to worry about your client and what's more important to them. And sometimes it's money, sometimes it's time. And if it's time, you're going to have to pivot. So today's little episode is about pivoting, making sure that you understand that if your trusses don't arrive, it's okay to go to the design team and say, hey, I got an idea. Let's stick frame this whole house. Let's do rafters instead of trusses, and let's figure out how this is going to work. And sometimes they're going to say yes, sometimes they say no, but at least you provide the options. At least you're constantly letting them know that you're thinking about how we can make this move. Because if you sit around for another 16 weeks for these trusses to arrive, that's money out of your pocket. You're waiting for that. That's you're keeping a house in your backlog for a long time that otherwise wouldn't have been there. And that's money of other jobs that you can't take now because you're sitting around with another project in your lap. And if you do take on another project, that project now becomes your focal point because this thing's at a standstill. So that's one of the little things that, I like to preach is just be nimble, be able to pivot. Don't get stuck in your ways. Figure out how it works. So I got a phone call coming in. Go over to davidwindsor.com, get your free downloadable templates. Also, you can leave likes, subscribe, share this YouTube channel with your friends. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you next time.